Hi, guys. Chapter 7, A Close Call. There's a picture of Violet and Benny talking to the blonde woman that they found in the car by the trunk. I lost my flashlight, Benny stuttered. The woman stared at them for a moment and then reached down and picked up her phone. Her cheeks were bright red blotches on them. She looked angry. I'll call you back, she said, shutting it off. I haven't seen a flashlight, she told Benny and Violet. You should be in bed. Hmm. Well, we came to look for it, Benny said, hoping the woman would offer to help. She didn't. Then her phone rang, and the woman answered and said, Hold a minute. Ignoring Benny and Violet, she walked away from them and went out the door at the back of the car. Boy, for a porter, or supposed porter, like Emilio, she doesn't seem very friendly, does she? Not very helpful for sure. Hmm. Benny and Violet were ignored as she walked away. I didn't know there was another porter on the train, Violet said. I thought Emilio said he was the only one. Maybe he forgot to tell us. Why was she trying to get in there? She said she had a plan to get them. She meant the boxes, but Emilio said they were our responsibility now, not hers. Hmm. I don't know. I don't like this. We should wake someone up and tell them. Well, that means we'd have to leave the boxes in the trunk. What if she comes back and takes them? I I can go wake up Henry and Jesse and grandfather, and you and Watch can stay here and guard the trunk, Violet suggested. I don't want to stay here by myself, Benny cried. Not even with Watch. I'll go wake people up and you can stay. I don't want to stay by myself either, Violet went over to the trunk. We could take the boxes back with us. That way we know they'll be safe. That's a good idea. I forgot the combination. It's the man's birthday who wrote down the Sherlock Holmes story, but I didn't remember the year. I do, Violet said. It's 1859. They opened the trunk and took out the boxes. Violet wrinkled her nose, and when she pulled out the last box, I didn't know this trunk was so dirty inside. It's got blotches all over the bottom. It looks like when grandfather spilled his coffee. Maybe he spilled some when he was putting something in the trunk. I don't know. There are a lot of blotches. Whoever it was spilled a lot of coffee. Well, I wish I had my flashlight, Benny said. Here, take mine, Violet handed hers to Benny. He looked at the bottom of the trunk. Someone also scribbled all over the bottom. Not grandfather, he doesn't scribble. He might have when he was a baby. They both giggled at that. It was hard to imagine. The train's whistle sounded, startling them. They jumped up, remembering that the woman could come back in any time. Let's go, Benny said, and he putting the end of Watch's leash around his wrist and grabbed some of the boxes. Let me lock the trunk back up first, Violet said. We don't want the lock to get lost in case we need to put boxes back in. She closed the lid and locked them. They hurried back to the sleeper car. When they got back to their section of the car, they felt the train slow down. Henry and Jessie were still sleeping soundly. Benny and Violet set the boxes down on the seat next to the berths. Benny was still worried about them, so he put his and Violet's backpacks in front of them to hide them a little more. Wake up, Benny said, and he reached into Henry's berth. Wake up, Henry. The train slowed even more, and they stopped. Jessie woke up. What's wrong? Why did we stop? Henry turned over and opened his eyes, and then sat up when he realized everyone else was awake. We're stopped? He said, rubbing his eyes. I don't know why we stopped. That's not why we woke you. There's something else strange going on about the porter, Violet said. But before anyone could respond, they heard another train roar by them. So close, everything rattled inside the car. Henry got up and looked out the window. On both sides of the train were on a side track. I suppose we had to move out of the way for the faster train to go past us. That's how trains do it. So they actually have like a little side area that they can park while another train passes because it's one track going the long distance. So sometimes that happens. Huh. What about that porter? She wasn't very nice, Benny added. Should we tell grandfather? Like, she was mean. No, Henry came back to them. We don't need to wake up grandfather. I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. Why would a Redimus Porter take the boxes? From the way she was talking on the phone, she was planning on taking the boxes, Violet said. Jessie got up too. Let's go find her and talk to her. I'm sure she'll explain. The only other place she could be is in the observation car, Jesse said, because all the other ones seem to be taken. It's the last car on the train. We know she didn't come through the sleeping cars because we would have seen her. Henry yawned. Yeah, let's go. I want to go back to sleep soon. Well, the children got up and went to the observation car. It was full of big, comfortable chairs next to large windows that lined the sides. The four of them walked through the car looking in each chair. All the chairs were empty. At the back of the car, they could see a small viewing platform with a railing on the other side of the door. It was empty, too. Well, where did she go? Violet asked. Are you sure you really saw someone? Henry asked. Yes, we saw her and we talked to her. Well, maybe she got off the train when it stopped. Benny went over to the window and looked out. The others joined him, but there was nothing to see. Farmland, a few faint lights in the distance, but that's it. Well, I suppose that's the only explanation that makes sense, Henry said. He didn't sound very sure. Jessie shivered. I don't like it in here. Let's go back to our own car. Everyone agreed. They were all ready to leave the big empty car. Back in their berths, Benny said, Are you sure we shouldn't wake up Grandfather? Yes, we can't do anything else tonight. And the boxes are safe with us. It took them all a long time to fall asleep. Violet woke first. The train had stopped again. Early morning light came through the windows. She climbed down intending to get dressed. But there was something wrong. It took her a few moments to figure it out. Watch was gone. She ran down the aisle, hoping the dog was with Grandfather. The compartment door was open, but neither Grandfather nor the dog was there. Just as she woke the others, Grandfather and Watch came in. Oh, I took Watch for a walk while they were doing a crew change. You were all sleeping so soundly, I didn't want to wake you, Grandfather said. Emilio came through the door from the direction of the dining car. Good morning. Breakfast is waiting. None of you look like you got a good night's sleep. Henry told Emilio and Grandfather about how Violet and Bunny saw the mysterious porter trying to get into the trunk. And when we looked for her, we couldn't find her. We think she got off the train when it pulled over on the side rail. Who was she? Violet asked. Well, that definitely wasn't a Redimus Society member, Emilio said. He had a panicked look appearing on his face. I need to check the trunk. He hurried toward the library car. All of them followed. When they reached the next car, they were shocked to see an empty space where the trunk had been sitting. She took the whole trunk, Emilio said. I have to tell the engineer to stop the train so we can go back. Young man, Grandfather called, hurrying after him. I don't think that's the best idea. Emilio kept going. Grandfather followed. Benny had a horrible thought. You think she found the boxes and took those too while we were sleeping? He asked. Oh, I hope not. Violet raced back to the sleeping car, the rest of the children close behind. When they reached their berths, they were relieved to see the boxes were still on the seat behind Benny's backpack. Phew, Henry said. Good thing you hid them, Benny. Yes, but the trunk is still gone, Jessie said. What if it was important? Guess we'll have to wait for Chapter 8 to see what happens.